Well, thank you. It's great to be here. When my boss, the Honorable Alice Wagner, said, "Hey, I'd like you to go to South by Southwest and speak," and I said, "Is it in the Pentagon?" He said, "No." And I said, "I'm in. Then any chance you get to get out of the Pentagon, Tracy, we take it." And so it's a great introduction. Thanks, and we're really excited to be here to talk about the human talent part of innovation. And so the government's not known for being agile or flexible when it comes to anything, right? And so we have a secretary now that is very interested in breaking the mold and finding ways to improve our competitiveness with our adversaries. And so we're going to try to talk a little bit about that, and we're not going to try to use acronyms and try to break stuff down. We're going to try our best. And so if I look at you and I see some nonverbals that not understand, we'll try to break it down for you. So I'll start with what is great power competition. Great power competition is the moniker now we're using. The Air Force decided, or their senior leadership decided about 3 weeks ago on 24 key decisions, and they bundled those key decisions in 4 categories. One is the people, and that's what we're going to talk to you about today. One is readiness, combat readiness. The other one is project power, and then capabilities. And you'll see some of those themes throughout the AFWERX events and through South by Southwest here, because that's really the only thing the Air Force, I don't want to say the only thing, it's really what we're focused on in order to be more competitive. The Secretary uses all the time, be more competitive. So what does that mean? This new era of great power competition is much different than we've had for the past 20 years, 20 plus years, right? We've been organized in a way that is efficient and effective for counter violent extremist operations. And we've gotten really good at that. And but that's not what we need for the future. And so this great power competition, specifically with China, is a lot about innovation. It's about technology, rapid technology that's moving very, very quickly. And you've seen some of these things play out in Europe with Russia's aggression in Ukraine. And so we think that there's obviously a talent component there, and we think we have the people, but we need more of that. And really, the best part about this is that we're breaking down walls and policies all the time, and we're doing things a lot differently. And that's what we want to talk to you about today. And talent is our competitive advantage. When you look at Ukraine and the way that Ukraine's been able to continue to fight off Russia is because they're enlisted NCO talent. Nobody in the world has got the talent that we have, and we need more of it, and we need to be more effective, and we need to be more benefit. And so that includes full-time, part-time, civilian, contractors, every status. We need to bring everybody to bear to this problem, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So. Tracy, when you look at it from the civilian perspective, how does great power competition, and how are you guys thinking about it?
So, looking at it from the position that I'm in, I first want to say I'm extremely honored to be here. When General Erredge reached out and told our NAF that he wanted a CMF civilian, I'm like, I am not that person. So he ended up getting a twofer. I'm the talent management person, but we've got a senior technical advisor, Ms. Janie Jones, and so any questions afterwards from a technical standpoint, we can get you covered. But from my where I sit, I've been in this job for about 2 years. Some of the things that kind of, not that it keeps me up at night, but in any job that you have, you always want to improve. How can we attract the talent? How can we articulate our message or our need better? And I think the thing that's, especially that 3-week time, it kind of, I think it kind of shifted my perspective, because, whether it's, any of you guys, even in the military, sometimes we can get so wrapped up in what we do that we really don't see the big picture of what we're actually doing. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why is it necessary for me to recruit cyber talent? And when that announcement, with the shifting of the Air Force organization and why we're shifting, that, it really, again, like I said, it shifted my perspective, and it really kind of, the last 3 weeks have been really honing in on the necessity to finding that talent. I think it's the avenues that we take, where we're looking, what we're looking for, and to your point, it takes all of us, whether you have a uniform on full-time, part-time. This is citizen Erredge here is actually a civil servant as well as he wears the uniform. So he's checking off a couple of boxes. You guys, if you're looking from an industry perspective, we need you too. We need your partnership. We need you to solve some of our problems. So this is, again, we're looking at it because getting after that fight, it's good. This war has already started. It's very subtle right now, very subtle. But by the time we start dropping bombs, it's going to be too late. We need folks in the seats now, so we can get them trained, so we can be ready for that fight by the time it gets to a full blown. But I will pause there.
So we are operating in the cyber community with adversaries below the level of armed conflict, and so I'm hesitant to say we're at war with them, but we're very close to that. And in the spaces that you hear about it, Cybercom's did a better job talking about it.
Yes.
But there's a lot of things happening that you're not talking about. And so there's really the major innovative thing I want to talk about today is I am a reservist. And so we've been working on this idea for quite some time. We got legislation back in 2017, and we just got implementation instructions finally in April last year. So we have the authority now to issue constructive service credit. So if you're familiar with the military service for chaplains, doctors, dentists, lawyers, we can bring you in at a higher grade. We can now do that for cyber. So for example, there's a cybersecurity company down in San Antonio. The CEO and co-founder was interested in serving. And so she was selected in May. She went to OTS and graduated as a major in December. So think about from April to December, she went from a civilian to a major and is now on man days, bringing her civilian capacity and training to bear, helping the Pentagon solve some really wicked cybersecurity problems. And so as we expand that, there's an opportunity that we need your help. If you find people that have a propensity to serve and they want to do that part-time, you can do that in the Air Force Reserve. And you can get credit for your training, your experience, and education. And so there's a formula that goes in, there's a board that meets. We try to match talent to very specific jobs and problems. It's exquisite talent we're looking for. We're not going to go shove you in a unit and make you do the institutional leadership, which is everybody in the Air Force. When I came in, it was like, everybody's going to be the chief staff of the Air Force. Well, we need to flip that model upside down. There's only one chief of staff of the Air Force, right? It's not Rick. And so what can I do at my different levels in order to help national security and find ways for people to serve in a way that works for them and the timing and place of their choosing? And you can do that, and one of the reasons Tracy here is that if we do have people that are interested in doing that and they want to serve government in a way but maybe can't wear the uniform, then maybe they can serve as a civilian.
Absolutely. And there are, especially in our wing, we are the war-fighting piece of cyber, that cyber domain. We have some of that exquisite talent that we're looking for is, folks with computer science degrees, computer engineering, post-network analysts. These are the folks that are kind of bringing the fight, just taking the fight to them.
So when you think about right now, 77% of our nation's youth, that's 17 to 24 years old, is ineligible to serve in the military. Less and less people know anybody that has served in the military. Family, friends, neighbors, we're shrinking to a size where there's less propensity to serve. And so this is an avenue that we think is really beneficial. Another example for you, been working with a government senior executive that works at the Department of Justice doing economic cybersecurity. He reached out to a post my boss made before Christmas about this program, and it got 20,000 impressions. So we know that there's people out there that want to serve. And so we're here to talk about that. We're interested, not just maybe if it's you, but people you know, people you mentor. Like, there's an opportunity to do things, and Janie can attest to this, that you can't do what I call the Google money, Amazon, Apple. Like, we do things you can't do there. You can do a lot of cool things there, but you can do some really wicked cool things with us. And there's an opportunity for you to do that in a full-time status, either in uniform or not in uniform, or not uniform as a civilian too. These we're well integrated.
And I think too that the important thing is, you know, from a benefits package. I mean, we are fairly competitive on the salary, in the salary range, but from a benefits package, I think we offer a lot. You know, to your point, there are things that you can do in the military, obviously, that you can't do and as a regular civilian, you know, working in industry. But I think the student loan repayments, we have recruitment and relocation packages, and even when you get in the seat, we have retention bonuses, you know, insurance, all that stuff. I think we are competitive. So hopefully there's again, we will foot stomp reserves, Air Force. There is a place for you, whether you're like you said, whether you choose to wear the uniform or not, because ultimately we are all going to be in this fight together. Whenever that, you know, getting after that great competition, and from an industry perspective, if you choose to help solve a problem that the Air Force has, that you're choosing to serve your nation in that capacity. So it's nothing to be, you know, maybe you can't make a commitment with wearing a uniform, but I think again, being able to serve your nation there's nothing else like it.
Yeah, this is a whole nation. We need to mobilize everybody, and we've not done a good job talking about, you know, the threat in a way that gets people interested in serving. And so I think what's the discussion needs to move from just pay. When I talk to young people, they want to talk about salary.
Absolutely.
It's not all about salary, right? It's about the total compensation package. And when we put it together, we put it in front of the Secretary of the Air Force a couple days ago, because there's this this movement about doing some targeted pay raises on the pay chart for military. We've done a bunch of things on the civilian side, pay-wise, that trying to get after, but you talked a little bit about it. On the military side, for pay, it's just not pay. It's the health care, it's the savings plan, it's opportunities for VA compensation and pension on the back end, and gaining that experience. And I would urge you to find those people in industry and hire those people that have previous military experience or a Guard reservist. We can both benefit from having people that get both experiences and can help your organization do much better. But from a civilian side, I think you've got more flexibility from a compensation package.
Yes, absolutely. And again, it's that all those incentives that I just listed a little while ago. I will tell you that, like you said, that the TLMS packages it's a targeted local market supplement. We just, I think back in July of last year, I think, some of our work roles, our cyber work roles, the folks that are in those, that are working those, it was like a $30,000 increase. So the Air Force, I think the military in general, is recognizing, you know, trying, again, it's going back to that pay, but it's, I think it's, they've recognized in order to get that talent and to retain it, there should be some equity in pay. But the flexibilities, while most of the time from a, we can do some telework, that there is some flexibility there. From a remote standpoint, not always, that's on the, I guess, by situation, you know, case by case situation, mostly because the stuff that we do, you're in a SCIF. And
what's a SCIF?
It's a secret compartmentalized facility to where it is, you can only get in there if you've been cleared. So obviously the work that we're doing has to be contained in that. So if you live near a SCIF, remote work is possible for you, but that of course is going to have, would be some sort of an arrangement for that particular SCIF be okay with you, coming to take a hotspot. But there are, we do have flexibilities. We will work, if you're willing to put your, raise your hand or say, hey, I'm here, I've got some skills for you, we certainly want to talk to you. So.
Yeah, and if you don't want to be maybe a specific cyber operator or have a different discipline, we are expanding the constructive service credit at the Air Force level now to other career fields. So think about intelligence, actually security forces is one that's been interested, our scientific career fields, specifically, they're small career fields, but think about the power of somebody from industry coming in and being a major lieutenant colonel, and up to colonel is what Congress has allowed us. So you can come in and be a colonel with equivalent like 20 years of experience in the military to get after something that we really need help with.
Yes, and from an Air Force perspective, that direct commissioning program, it's pretty competitive. It just started last year for us. I think the last year's panel, I think there was 10 slots, maybe 8 or 10 slots. We had about 100 applications though. But it is, like you said, it is very, to be able to come in and start making a difference, being a leader at what you're, sharing what you have, it's really great. One of the things too that we talked about earlier that I think was very important is sometimes people have this misconception that if you join the military, that you've committed your entire life to the military. General Erredge was just talking about, where if you just do the 5 years, it can definitely help. And I'll let you share some of that, what you're...
Yeah, so I think, we're interested in talent, how you want to serve and how long you want to serve. Not that we want people to come in and out, we want to retain the talent, but there's opportunities for you to do that in the span and kind of call an off-ramp and an on-ramp, like when your life takes, maybe you're going to start a family, go back to school, or you start a really demanding job, like you can take a break and then you can come back to when your life changes a little bit. And that flexibility is really important. We've not thought about that in a way, and then there's some other benefits that go along like that too. So I just want to say thanks for letting us be here and talk a little bit about it. The 3 of us will be available outside the glass doors. We'll be around today and tomorrow if everybody wants to talk more about this, or if you know somebody, you have a lead, want to chat about it. And I'll just leave you with the Secretary of the Air Force. Every meeting I've been in with him for the last 3 months about great power competition, we talk about cyber and intelligence and the need for us to get talent from industry. He talks about it nonstop. And so there's a lot of opportunity for you, not just in the Air Force, full-time, but part-time. And so I urge you to talk to your networks about if anybody's interested to serve, that find us. We can help you find a way to serve. So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.